Images are one of the most important elements of your website. They help you tell your story and they can make or break your design. So how do you actually choose images to use on your website? And more importantly, where do you find those images? So that's what I'm going to cover in this video. If you're new to this channel, my name is Anna Lea. I'm the owner of Lea Design Studio, where I help small business owners design websites and create content that attracts their ideal audience and converts them into paying clients and customers, and that is what I cover on this channel as well. So if that is something you're interested in, definitely hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up so that I know to create more content like this. So without further ado, let's dive into today's topic. So as I've mentioned earlier, images can make or break your website. So essentially, they not only help you tell your story, but they can also help your audience retain information better. But in order to do that, your images need to look cohesive with the rest of your website. So my first tip for you would be to actually pay attention to the colors that you've chosen for your website and your brand, and make sure that those colors are either matching with the images that you're choosing for your website, or have, like, if your website has the primary color is, for example, a light blue, then you want to make sure that your images have colors that are either that also feature light blue or different shades of blue, or alternatively, you want those images to have complementary colors. So for example, orange and yellow would work well with blue, because those are the complementary colors to blue. So those are your choices when it comes to that is my first tip, that when it comes to choosing images. The second thing you need to pay attention to is the way that your image is edited, because most images that you download off of the internet are not straight up shot from the camera as is. They have undergone an editing process. So if you want your website to be, for example, light and bright, then you'll naturally choose images that are light and bright, because it would create a disconnect if the entirety of your website, your color schemes, let's say that you're using pastel colors all throughout your website, and then suddenly you choose images that are dark and moody and have this very, I don't want to say oppressive, but very dark atmosphere around them. It's going to look out of place, it's going to look out of whack, it's going to look weird, so don't do that. So pay attention to the filters and the editing styles that the image uses. And finally, my third tip for choosing images would be to actually keep your target audience in mind, because everything, when it comes to your website, even though it's your website, comes back to your target audience. Would this image resonate with my target audience? That is the thing that you need to be asking yourself when you're choosing images for your website. If it doesn't resonate with your audience, if it doesn't fit with their general demographic, psychographic, then you shouldn't be using it. It's as simple as that. For example, if you're creating a website for parents of young children, or if your target audience is parents of young children, then obviously you're going to want to feature images of parents and young children. You're not going to want to feature images of sport athletes or, mountains and landscapes, because not unless you're promoting like a resort or a playground or any type of vacation facility for parents of young children that is located in the mountains, for example. So you need to keep in mind your audience as well as what you're offering, because if it doesn't make sense with those two, then it'll look out of place and it'll look funky. So it won't connect well and it'll just throw them off. Those are the top 3 tips that I have when it comes to choosing images. Pay attention to the colors that are used in the images that you choose, and make sure that they either feature the same brand color or similar brand color, or color similar to your brand color, or complementary colors. Pay attention to filters and editing mode to make sure that it's cohesive with the rest of the vibe and style of your website. And third, keep your audience and your offers in mind. It needs to be aligned with what you offer and the audience that you're serving. So once you're clear on those, what's the next thing you should know? So the first thing don't just grab any random image off of Google. I know that in 2022 I shouldn't really be saying this, but there are still some people who just download images off of Google randomly, come to me and say, hey, I want to use this image. You can't do that. It's stealing somebody else's work. It's not your image. Don't do that. It can get you into a lot of trouble. It can get you to have to pay a fine for copyright infringement. You will have to take the image down. It can result in your site being shut down. So just don't do it. Use images that come from reputable sources. What are those sources? Well, you have several options. You have free image sites and you also have paid image sites. So let's talk about these briefly. So first of all, free image sites include platforms like Pixabay, Pexels, Unsplash, Gratisography, Life of Pix, Burst by Shopify, and there are plenty of others. And I actually have a whole list of websites where you can find free photos in my website photography guide, which is available as part of my website prep system. I'll leave a link to that down below in case you're interested and want to check it out. But there are also images that you can find. Those images are usually free, which means you can use them without attributing the author, although some may require a credit line like in your footer or on a separate page on your website saying that images came from that website. So just pay attention to the licensing and what they tell you to do, if they require credit or not. For example, I know that Unsplash says that you can use it without crediting the author or the photographer. But they do give you like a small copyright thingy that you can add to your website for those images. Then you also have websites such as 123RF, Getty, I'm trying to think of other ones, Stocksy, Photodune, I want to say, is the one by Envato Market. Then you also have Envato Elements, Creative Market. Some of these allow you to buy images on an individual basis, so you can buy images one by one. Others allow you to buy credits, which then allow you to download a certain number of images off of their website every month. So again, that is something that you will need to research and see what makes most sense for you and your budget, basically. And then you have like subscription websites, which are provided by other business owners, that basically for a monthly subscription, you can download as many. Some allow you to download unlimited images. Others allow you to buy have a monthly subscription, which limits you to, for example, if a monthly subscription is like $25, they allow you to download 25 images for free. And then you have to wait until next month to download another 25 images. So a few examples of those include Style Stock Society, Hotstock, Pixie Stock, Ivory Mix, Social Squares, and there are plenty of others. I can't even remember all of them. However, I do link them in the guide that I mentioned earlier. So check that out if you're interested. So essentially, yeah, you will want to choose one of these websites to get the images for your website. Again, if you're on a budget, free stock images are fine. If you have budget to spare, then you can download paid stock photography. Third option that you have is you can also set up a branded photo shoot where basically somebody comes and takes photos of you, your desk, your office, your whatever type of business you have, and any branded elements you want to include. This is usually the most expensive option, but if you have the budget to spare, you can get a lot out of it because you can not only get images that are completely unique to you, you can also get hundreds of photos for your social media, your products, your blogs, your whatever other marketing material you may use. And the last thing I want to mention when it comes to images is that you need to pay attention to the proper formatting and the image file size, and also image dimensions. But so there are basically, you have, when it comes to images, you have vector images, and then you have raster images. So vector images are images that are typically in SVG, AI, EPS, or PDF format. The beauty of those is that you can scale them as big as you want, and they won't lose quality. The problem with those is only SVG and PDF are supported in all major browsers, and you typically wouldn't use those images on your website. They're not really meant for web use anyway. For web use, you want to use raster images. Raster images, most common formats are JPEG, PNG, and the one that causes an uproar every time somebody pronounces it differently, I'm going to say GIF. That is how I pronounce it. If you pronounce it differently, let me know in the comments if you say GIF or GIF, because GIF just sounds weird to me. So let me know in the comments which pronunciation you use. Anyway, moving on. JPEG basically stands for Joint Photographic Expert Group, and it is the most commonly used format on the web. This is typically what you would use for background images, for images of your team members, your coworkers, even your products, if you don't require a transparent background. So whenever you don't need a transparent background, JPEG is the way to go, as this will result in a file that will reduce in a small file size. And that is important, and I will mention that when I talk about image file sizes here shortly. Then we have the PNG, which stands for Portable Network Graphics, and it is essentially a format that has slightly higher quality than JPEGs, but is also bigger in terms of file size. And you would use this format for things like logos, patterns, simple illustrations, any image that requires a transparent background. For example, if you have like, I don't know, let's say you have a water bottle and you want to showcase it against a transparent, or you want it with a transparent background, you would use a PNG for that, so that it can fit onto any type of background that you have on your website, whether that's white, black, pink, blue, whatever. So that's the PNG. And then you have the GIF, and that is basically whenever you need an animated image. So that stands for Graphics Interchange Format, and it is essentially, it allows you to add animated images to your website. And the beauty of a GIF is that it can be compressed by a lot. I mean, really by a lot. The quality of the image, of course, degrades. But if you want like an animated logo, or if you want to like show that quick moving image of products that basically flashes like different pages of, let's say you have an ebook and you want to showcase turning of the pages, you can use a GIF for that. Or I don't know, if you want to, let's say you want to show a scrolling website screenshot, you can use GIF for that, basically. So essentially, that is GIF. It's not commonly used. Like I said, it has a very specific few use cases. So it's out there just so you know. And of course, I have to mention there's also the WebP format, which was developed by Google with the sole goal of reducing the image file size without compromising quality. However, not all browsers support WebP just yet, and not all platforms, website platforms, support WebP yet. So even if you have it in WebP format, if your website platform doesn't support it, you are going to need to convert it into JPEG or PNG, in most cases. Now let's talk about image dimensions. How long, how wide, how tall should your images be? That depends on how you're using them. For example, if you're using image as a full width background, you'll want it to be at least 1500 pixels wide. I wouldn't go past 2500 pixels, but somewhere between is where that is how I would size that image. If you're using an image of, I don't know, a landscape or a flat lay or something like that. If you're using a solid color background, then you can make it smaller than that. And because it's just a solid color, as long as you don't have text on it, mind you, as long as it's just a solid color, most website platforms will create different sizes of it to ensure that it scales nicely and is responsive. So you can use a smaller dimensions on that, because it won't be noticeable. If you're not using a background image, so if you're using an image on the page itself, either to showcase your product or to provide a visual cue for a service or to have a picture of you on your website, then you'll probably want something in like a landscape format or square format, or even a tall vertical format. And for that, I would recommend that the smallest you go is 700 pixels in width. So again, most website platforms will create different image sizes, but I wouldn't go smaller than that. What is more important is the image file size. See, the smaller your image file size is, the faster your website will load. So you need to pay attention to the file size more than you do to the image size when it comes to images that aren't used as a background image. So essentially, I would recommend keeping it ideally below 100 kilobytes, but in some cases that can severely degrade the quality of the image. I would go between 100 and 150 kilobytes. It won't cause, I found that to be like the best compromise between having an image that is so reduced in size that doesn't look bad in terms of quality, but it's still small enough that it's not going to slow down your website to a whole crawl. So that is something to keep in mind. You can use platforms like TinyPNG, JPEG, TinyJPEG to compress the image size before you upload it to your website. Or if you're using WordPress, you can use one of their plugins. There's thousands of them. ShortPixel is one that comes to mind immediately that you can use to optimize your website images. So those are the 3 things that I would share with you on how to choose and use images for your website. And I also have a tutorial on how to actually resize images in Squarespace. So if you're interested in that, I will leave a link to that on the screen. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments, do you say GIF or GIF? That's it for this week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.